All right, so in this video, we're going to be covering how to use smart or enhanced websites to close and upsell big ticket clients. This video is going to be the clear guide to using SEO optimized websites with AI, automations, and even reporting to close and then upsell those big ticket clients effortlessly so you can get your foot in the door with your dream clients. And when I'm talking about dream clients, I'm talking about clients who don't mind paying your rates. They are very sticky, so they're sticking around for a while, and they will very easily agree to your upsells because they're focused more on growth, and we're going to show them how we're helping them grow. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, what is a smart website and why does this work so well? So let's look at what a website is versus a smart or an enhanced website. And I'll tell you how I kind of differentiate the two, or basically how I pick which word I'm going to use based on who I'm speaking to. So a typical website focuses on exactly what you think when I say the word website. It's essentially a digital brochure with maybe some call to action, some business information, but it is basically a digital brochure. Now, it does not track new leads. It doesn't add a lead value. It does not notify the lead that you got their form submission. And it does not notify the business owner that they have a new lead. And it definitely does not get the lead booked for an estimate or for a job. Now, on the other hand, a smart or enhanced website is really kind of stupid because the name doesn't actually reference what it is. The reason we're saying smart website, enhanced website, is because this is actually a positioning statement that references something that business owners understand, which is websites, or which are websites, and alludes to something that they might otherwise not fully understand or might be overly complicated or just completely unattractive to them whatsoever, and that would be back-end systems. So in reality, a smart or enhanced website is just an SEO optimized website with a backend system connected. And the backend system, as I'm going to show you how to build out completely, entirely free here, is basically just going to be your automations and your AI systems in the backend. And what those backend systems do is it takes the new lead through the first few stages of the sales journey. And the really nice piece with this is that we're able to track values and bring data to the business owner and say, hey, based on your numbers, here's what you should do next to get more of that money. So that's how the sale becomes effortless. I'm going to show you how to do absolutely everything in this video. And if you want a copy of this document, all you have to do is in the comment section below, just comment the word smart in all caps, and I will send you a copy of this. Now, some examples of what a smart or enhanced website looks like in action might be, and here's three versions. So easy version is going to be when you get a form submission, the lead receives a confirmation text. The business owner is then notified to contact the lead. A step up from that might be when the form is submitted, the contact form is submitted, the lead is receiving a confirmation text. The lead is then texted automatically a calendar to book an on-site estimate. And then if they do not take any action, the business owner is then notified to contact the lead if that appointment is not booked within 1 hour, 12 hours, a day or so, right? And then a more advanced version might be when a form is submitted, the lead is receiving a confirmation text, and then you can add in an AI chatbot that is then pushing them to book an appointment via SMS conversations. And if the AI bot is unsuccessful, then we notify the business owner to contact the lead the next day or whatever time frame you want to look for. So again, just to be very clear, we're combining the word smart with website because they understand what a website is. And when we add this little descriptive word being smart or enhanced, we're basically saying that this is more than just a website that you have. This is actually what's going to allow us to charge a little bit more than just typical hosting fees of between $10 and $30, all the way up to $50 a month. And this is going to push us into the $97 to $300 range. And if you add in your AI bots, I'll show you how this can very quickly become a $400, $600, even $1,000 a month offer. Now, what we want to do is we want to, in this order, is that we're going to, number one, we're going to build the backend, and we're going to build this in one account, one dummy account. I'm going to be using GHL, so I'm going to show you how to do all that there, but you don't have to use high level. But we're going to build a backend account in a dummy account, basically just like a test account, right? Once we have the backend account, we're then going to find and reach out to the right client. And I'm going to show you how to do this without sounding like a loser. The reason that I'm doing this, the backend first, is because the backend is going to be the same for every person that I speak to. But when I reach out to these clients, I'm then going to have to update or create a template site. And again, I'm going to leave the backend automation. So again, this will be the same for everybody. And I'm just going to be updating the templates as leads coming in. We don't want to build it before we reach out, right? Now, once I basically do my pitch in step 2, I'm then going to present and try to close them. Once I close them, that's when I can then clone everything I had in the back end here, put the template site into this new client's sub account, and I'm going to update the back end, and I'm going to use reporting to show them, hey, here are your numbers and here's what we can do to make you more money. It's just going to cost a little bit more money for me to set these things up. So that's what we're going to be covering in this video. Again, if you want a copy of this document, all you need to do is comment the word SMART in all caps below and I will get you a copy. But let's move on. So step one, we're going to build the backend. I'm going to run you through what it looks like and I'm going to show you how to actually build it. So number one, you only have to do this once. If you follow this training, you can have this setup done in under 2 hours. So we're going to set this up one time in one account. I'm going to show you how to do everything. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have a GHL account and you can click on this link right here. This is my link. And if you use this link, again, it is my affiliate link, so I'll get paid if you use this and you will actually get access to my program, which I'll have more details below, but I don't want to, just be selling you this whole time. But we're going to set up a GHL account. Again, you can do it for free for 30 days. And if you are following this video, you're going to learn the best way to make your money back before you even pay a cent. Again, if you're watching this video and you are not an affiliate of mine, you can just copy this. But if you become an affiliate of mine, you can see down here, affiliates and members of my program will get the snapshot I'm going to show you guys for 100% free. So you don't need to build anything. So if you sign up with this link, go through this part because then you can learn what it is, but you don't have to build anything. But the order that I go in with a new sub account is I'm going to, number one, set up the new lead pipeline. Number two, we're going to create the custom folder called request a quote. And we're going to make this a request a quote field. So it's going to house all the fields for requesting a quote. Next, we're going to create custom fields for any information that we want on our form. You can do this either in the custom fields tab or on the form itself. Hint, this is like a little pro tip that I do here. For big ticket jobs, we're going to add a budget field asking for a range of budget. So it might be like, is your budget 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 plus, right? For the landscapers that we work with, we have it like, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 50, something like, it's like 10 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 100, and then 100 to 150 and 150 plus, right? So it can get pretty expensive, but I'm going to show you why that's really important. Then we're going to create a form named request a quote, and we're going to put in parentheses LP. You don't have to do this. The reason I do it is because LP just says, hey, this is the landing page form. So it just helps me find it really quickly. Okay, add this form, right? Then we're going to set up the calendar for estimates or consultations, depending on what niche you end up working with. We're then going to set up your review settings. We're then going to create custom values. We are then going to build your automations as seen in this video. Again, if you sign up with my link, whether you're joining for the first time or whether you're upgrading your account under me, you will get a copy of this. If you have maxed out your affiliates and you don't want to upgrade, you can also join by paying directly. And again, all those details are in the link, but I don't want to be, like I said, I don't want to just be selling you the whole video. You can watch this. You don't have to pay me a cent. You can do it. After the automations, you're going to set up your dashboards and then you're going to set up your reporting. And in the reporting, what we're going to do is we're actually going to send reports to both of them, being the business owner, and to you, so that way you can actually build your own case studies. So first thing you're going to see here is just a sub account. This is just a random sub account I made. I just called the Say So Smart Website Snapshot. Just put in a fake address, fake information, just so I can create it, right? So like I said, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to set up the new lead pipelines. You're going to go into opportunities, you're going to go to pipelines, you're going to click create new pipeline, and you're going to create it just like this. So you're going to name it new lead pipeline. And this is what I do. Again, you don't have to do it this way. I'm just going to show you what I do. And again, you can get this for free if you sign up. So new lead contacted, on-site estimate scheduled. You can change this to consultation scheduled if they're coming to you. You can even change this to just like appointment booked if you have just a very short sales cycle. Then you're going to do sent estimate, negotiations, close. And again, you can adapt this based on your space. What I'm going to be doing here is more for the blue collar guys, right? So we're going to go ahead and save this. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a custom folder called request a quote field. So we're going to go into settings, custom fields, go to folders, and we're going to do, you can see this is an intake form. So all you can do is click add a folder, type in request a form fields, and then you can save it. I save it as just contact information. I don't really play with the opportunities one because some of the automations don't work very easily with me or with high level. So I just leave it all as contact fields. So I have intake form, but you can see I have the little LP here, landing page. This is the only question I'm going to have that's a custom field. Anything like name, address, all that stuff is going to be in the other form. So don't worry about it. So I'm just going to put here, what's your budget for this project? What I do for this is I'm going to go into add field. You're going to do a drop down single, and then you're going to put what's your budget, and then you're going to put your ranges. So your ranges would be, $0 space dash $5,000, right? Whatever your ranges are. Again, just make it make sense with the industry that you're working in. If you don't know, just look up average pricing, low, medium, high, and then just have your best guess. You can even look at competition and see how they're pricing. But this is the only custom field I'm going to have here. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and I'm going to go back. I'm going to go into sites. I'm going to go to forms to the builder and I'm going to do my request a quote form. So I'm going to pop this open. And what you can do is you can just create a new one. And then all I'm doing is I'm dragging over the name. So I do first and last name. I always separate first and last name because I don't want the automations to use their full name. And I don't want to trust the customer or the system to try to figure out which is their first and last name. So I always just do a first name, make it required, last name, make it required, phone number, and I add this little verify phone. What you do is once you add the phone number, just come over here and click this button. The reason I like this is because if you want to prevent spam calls and you set this up, they will not be able to verify their phone because they're using some kind of dialer or they're trying to get around it. And I've seen that this is a really, really nice way to prevent scammers from just filling out your forms or bots from filling out your forms because they have to verify. You can do the same thing for email. I've just seen that just having it on phone works a little bit better. And the other benefit is that when you call or text them, you know it's actually going through. Now, if you're more of an email-based company, like maybe you're working with, for whatever reason, you guys prefer email or your numbers show email, just do the same thing for email and turn off for phone, right? And then you can see here, what's your budget? So to find your custom questions, go to custom fields. You'll see either intake form LP, or if you put request a quote, request and estimate fields here, pop it open and just drag that puppy on over, right? And then what's nice is with the new GHL setup, they have these custom boxes here, and this is going to be for your A2P. So these are the ones that we use for our A2P compliant snapshot. So if you are actually getting a copy of the snapshot, you're also getting our A2P compliant snapshot. And we have a member in our group. His name is Jesse. He's awesome. He made a full document on how to go through. So if you use our snapshot plus his document, you will get approved most likely on your first attempt, which is really, really nice because I remember how frustrating it was not being able to get those results, right? So now that we've got the form, we're going to go and set up our calendar. So you just go to calendar. You're going to go to calendar settings and you're going to click create calendar. You can see I have two right here. Here's an active job one, but we're just going to look at the on-site estimate one for now. This is a service calendar. So I'm going to just click edit because when you click create in a service calendar, you're going to see what this says. We're going to name it on-site estimate or whatever you want it to do. Again, have this reflect the industry you're working with. It could be consultation. It could be, whatever you want, right? Scroll down. You can do a custom URL. I just do on-site estimate dash calendar. The appointment invite title, I always put the customer name and then estimate with our location name. The reason I name it this way is because if I see the appointment, it'll show the customer name. And if the customer sees the appointment, it'll show estimate with our business name, right? The nice thing is with these custom values that I already have put in here that, GHL has built natively into the system is that you don't have to update this information if you're using my snapshot. It's just going to automatically pull their name and your name for your location. Then you do want to have at least one team member in here. So I just add myself to the sub account. You do that in the agency settings, or you can just do that by adding yourself under the staff. And you can just add yourself. But the reason is you can't save the calendar if you're not in here. So I just do this. Meeting location, I put custom, and then I put the contact's address if I'm going to their location. That way, when you add their address, it's going to immediately populate their information. So if you need this information, let's say you're booking an estimate, you can have this on as the calendar form, which you're going to see in just a second. But this is what I'm going to set up, and I'm going to save it. And let's say I want to collect their address. I can either add the address fields to the form that we just had, or what I like doing as well is this is just a fail-safe. I'm going to create another form, and I'm going to create this estimate calendar form. This is just the form that we attach to the calendar. And I'm just going to do name, last name, phone number, email, and then the address. And what I'm doing for the address is I'm dropping these down, and I'm making all of them required except for state, which I'm hiding, and country, which I'm hiding. Because if you're working in, let's say you're working in the US, you're working in the UK, you're working in Australia, you're working in Canada, you're working wherever you are, the state and the country should be local to you. So I do leave like zip code because that's going to tell me if you are local to me or not. It's up to you. You can have all of these if you'd like to, but this is just how I do it. And a little pro tip, if you are working on a city or in a city, in a region, in a county that borders another state, then you may want to leave state on just in case they might be going across one side of the state or the other. Some cities even are right on the border. So just a little pro tip there. We're going to save. We're going to go back. And now in the calendar settings, we can add the form. So I'll show you how to do that. You just want to make sure that you're collecting their address somewhere. So you can go to forms and payments, and you're just adding this form. Default will be their first, last, email, phone, notes, and you just do estimate calendar there. And then for your availability, just set whatever the business owner has on their Google Business profile so it matches. Notification, I leave in-app for these two. I would even do in-app for all of these, or you can have them in automation, but in-app for all of these is perfectly fine. I just leave email off. Customization, you can pick their brand color. Again, for a template, just leave it, and then you can change that later. And then button text, schedule on-site. We don't need painting. We just need on-site estimate. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. And then we don't need this for an on-site estimate. So we're going to go ahead and go back. So now that we have the forms and the calendar set up, we can even go and do our reputation set up. So what I do for the reputation, I'm just going to go to settings. This is typically what I do. I just go to SMS. I'm just going to cut on the SMS. You just cut it on up here. And then this is my message. Again, I just say something like, hey, contact name, appreciate your business. Would you mind taking 60 seconds to leave us a review? Means the world and helps me find more customers just like you. Here's a link if it's not too much trouble, right? Super, super simple. And then the next thing we're going to do is create our custom values if you have any specific like custom values. So again, the standard custom values are going to be pretty solid. You don't really need to add any, but they're going to be things like what your location is. You know, the custom values are basically fixed values. So custom fields are going to be what information do we need from the contact. Custom values are going to be what information do we need from the business owner. So the business owner might be their business name. Fields that we need from the contact being custom fields might be like, hey, customer, what is your name, right? We know our name is never going to change, but what is your name? Because that's going to change based on the customer, right? So think of like custom values as almost like custom fields for the business. Custom fields are fields for the contact, right? Hopefully that makes sense. I want to make sure we add our survey too. Okay, perfect. So we do want to have a survey. So we have like an on-site measurement or estimate survey. So we do want to create this too. And let me rename this. There we go. So I basically say, fill out this survey to record the outcome of the estimate. And I'll show you where this comes into play a little bit. But we're going to do, were you able to complete the on-site estimate? And again, to create these, you're just doing custom field, add, and you're doing a drop down for everything you're seeing here. So were you able to complete the on-site measurement or estimate? We're going to put, yes, I completed it. No, I didn't, or appointment notes, right? And then we're going to put here, bam. And then the next one we're going to do a new slide. You just click the plus here and we're going to put, please record your estimate notes here. All this is an add. And this is going to be where am I looking here? A multi-line right here. So we're going to multi-line. We're naming it, please record your estimate notes here. I just put little notes like record the quote amount and details you want to send this contact. If you want to send multiple quotes, please record any and all information. We're going to save that. The next thing that we're going to do, this is you want to be careful here. Preview. When you preview this, you see right here, where it says question mark no track equals true. You don't want that. So we want to delete that and click enter. See, it's the same exact thing. But what that does is actually going to mess up the tracking. So now that we have this, we're going to copy this. So just right click, copy this. And we're going to come back here and we're going to go back. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go to custom values and we're going to put it here. So you can see there's an on-site measurement survey link. And we're going to paste that value in here. So we're going to go here, edit custom value, paste, and again, make sure it does not say question mark no true equals follow. So then we're going to update it. And if you don't know how do you create this, I'll show you very quickly once that saves. But all you're going to do is new custom value, again, name, on-site estimate, link, value is going to be the link right there. And when you do that, it will automatically create this key. And then what you can do with this key is you can click copy and we're going to go back and we're going to go to marketing. We're going to go to trigger links, and we're going to create right here. We don't need this. We can delete that. We're going to do add link. We're going to do name. The name is going to be the on-site estimate survey. We're going to paste this custom code, and then we're actually going to add a UTM. So let me go ahead and get the UTM code so you can see it. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that code. And so this is the code right here. So now we have our key and then we have question mark contact underscore ID equals open bracket contact.id close bracket save. And it's very important that we put this in a trigger link because we're actually going to put this trigger link into the text message notification that we send them being the business owner. So let's go ahead and refresh, make sure it's popping up there. There she is. Beautiful. Now we can go into the automations. And so now we have the new lead workflow automations right here. We're going to pop this open. Again, if you want to make a folder, you just come up here, create folder, and I just want to name it and I want to organize it. So when I open my new lead workflows, I have this organized very, very specifically. So I have NL being new lead, so it tells me what folder it's in, and then 00. This way, if we're seeing the automations from a different view, like the contact or the account notes or anything of that nature, we can find where they are. And I organize these chronologically. So they fill out the new lead form, we update the lead value, contacted new lead, on-site estimate, estimate survey outcomes, send estimate status, declined estimate status, accepted estimate status. So you can see all of it here. And we're going to go through and I'm going to show you absolutely every single one because I want to show you guys that we are actually using these automations in our agencies. If you are working with somebody who is making more money from their affiliate commissions than they are in their agency, that is a huge red flag. That's waving a red flag, okay? A lot of these guys, what they do is they just come up here and they go create workflow and they select a recipe. They throw some things in there. Maybe they play with it. A lot of it is theoretical. So stay away from those guys that are very theoretical with their builds. Look at, you don't have to work with me, but look at the other affiliate guys who are actually showing you what they're using their agencies, because that's the stuff that actually works. So again, it's not just me. There's actually a lot of really, really cool guys out there that I talk with, but there's also a lot of really sketchy, scammy dudes. So just stay away from them. We call them scam affiliates. So just stay away from them. So let's go ahead and look and pop these open. NL00 new lead workflow. So again, form submitted is going to be your trigger. Form is request a quote or whatever you put there, right? Next thing you're going to have is a remove from all workflows. I just do this in case you have a new lead resubmitted. You can even change and have this be a specific workflow, but that's what I have there. This is a little pro tip. It might sound silly, but this is a little pro tip. Let me zoom in, go ahead so you guys can work. I actually do a formatter. So it's a text formatter action, and I do title case, and then I select the field first name. So when they fill out that form, sometimes people fill it out like all caps. It'll be like Alec, or it'll be all lowercase, like Alec. I want it to be capital A, L-E-C, lowercase, right? So I do a formatting for the first name and the second and the last name. And I do it as title case in case they have two first names or they put a middle name or two last names. Then we're going to create opportunity, and we're going to put in here the new lead pipeline we created. Stage is new lead, opportunity name is contact name, and status is just open. And I don't do value here, and you'll see why I don't do value. You can, if you have a standard, like we know it's going to be a very simple package base, like we work with barbers, we work with dentists, we're going to put their lead estimate at like 150. You just come into here, value, and then you can put 150. You don't need the $sign. If you're using a variable, you can actually switch this to dynamic, and then you can pick based off a question that they put. I'm not going to do it here because I'm going to show you what I do for my higher ticket guys. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to do assign to user. So I just have myself, Alec there. Again, if you're trying to build this out, you do need to be added there. The next thing I do is I do a wait, and I call this like a night owl wait. And I'll put this all here, night owl. So I call it a night owl wait because if they fill out this form at like 2 a.m., I'm going to wait 1 minute and make sure it's between the hours of 9 to 5. You can do even Sunday through Saturday if you want, but I don't want to be texting them or my business owner at 2 a.m. If, obviously this is based on your business. I'm just showing you what's in the template. First thing I do is I do an internal notification. I always do an SMS to the assigned user because that was done here. And then I just say, hey, you have a new lead. Here's their name, here's their phone, and here's their budget. So all I'm doing for this is I'm just typing in, name, colon, and then space, and then just coming here, custom values, contact, full name. That's all I'm doing. So that way, when they fill out that form, this is going to text the business owner and saying, hey, you have a new lead. Here's their information. Maybe we can say something like contact them to get their first appointment scheduled ASAP, right? And we can save that. Then we can do an SMS that goes to the customer or the contact, and that basically says, hey, contact first name. So, hey, Bob, this is Alec with business name. I just got your request for a new estimate. Do you mind if I call you to discuss your project? So now you're getting notified and they're getting notified, and you're waiting for a response. If they don't respond within 10, 15 minutes, either way, we're going to call them, right? So let's go back. Now, this is a really fun one I do, and this was a really, really important one that I see a lot of people missing. We're going to go ahead and do an update lead value. So when that form is submitted, same trigger, form is submitted, request a quote, then I have this condition, and the condition is based on the drop-down fields of that budget question we asked, right? What is your budget? Under 5K. And I hate that it does this. It kind of saves it weird. Sometimes you just have to recreate it. But anyway, under 5K, 5 to 10K. And you can see here, I'm just picking the value under 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 plus, right? And so what I'm going to do there is based on which condition I have, I'm going to update the opportunity to say, okay, if they're saying their budget's under 5K, let's guess at 1,500. If they're saying their budget is 5 to 10, let's guess at 5. And we're taking the lower range, typically 10 to 20, we pick 10, 20 plus, we pick 20. So if the customer is saying, hey, I'm willing to spend 20,000 or more, we're going to pick the low range. So that way, when we are showing this to our customer, our client, the business owner, we say, hey, you have a lead for 1,500, and the business owner might close and be like, hey, they were actually for 4,500. We're like, whoa, really cool. Or we have a client who they had that range I was telling you guys in the beginning, where it's like 150K plus, and that's what they put on the form. But then when they closed them, it was like 303 or 308,000, which is double that. And they're like, whoa, huge job, and actually pushed them over $1 million for that month. So that's why I kept picking the lower range, because you're still showing them, hey, we're generating this much in leads, which is huge, or you have this many in your pipeline, but when you close them, it's actually way more money, right? Usually if they say 10 to 20K, they're not going to say, well, actually, my budget's only 5K, right? Unless they're, I don't know, something got confused, right? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do contacted new lead. So if they actually end up calling the client, then we are going to update the opportunity and just move them over pipeline stage new lead, pipeline new lead, pipeline stage lead contacted. I just do a call status. And this is just a call direction outgoing, like I tried to call you, right? And you can even be more specific with the call status. You can even say like, okay, well, we have, maybe we completed it, right? And so if we completed, then we do contacted. Or maybe we do busy, canceled, no answer, voicemail, and then that says, hey, follow up, right? So you can get very specific. Again, this is just a starting or a jumping off point, right? Next automation is the on-site estimate scheduled. What we're gonna do for the triggers, I do appointment status. I do not use typically, there's another one here where it's like appointment booked. I don't do customer booked appointment because sometimes the business owners will tell you that they want to schedule themselves on the estimate and they don't want that calendar being customer facing. So the way I get around that is I just do appointment status, event type normal. Appointment status is new, confirmed, whatever you have as the default in your calendar. Then we're going to, again, remove from the workflow because we don't want, if we have any follow-ups, we don't want to have the, workflow reaching out to them. We update the opportunity saying, hey, the on-site estimate has been scheduled. We send the customer a confirmation email, which basically you can see right here. And again, you can pause to read. If I can I'm going to try to fit this as much as I can here. So I'll pause right here and then pause right here. And again, if you're getting the snapshot from me, you have all this. You don't have to recreate all this, right? You can just get it from me, have it in like 5 minutes of signing up, right? You have the confirmation SMS, which is saying, hey, you can again pause to read. Then I do 1 day before the appointment time. Again, pause this to your settings. Then I send them the SMS basically saying, hey, just a heads up, I'll be by tomorrow. Any question before then, just call or text this number. We wait 1 hour before the appointment. And then I do an internal notification, which basically says, hey, business owner, you have an on-site estimate in 1 hour. Here are the details, their name, their phone, their address, the time, their budget. And then I basically say, let the contact know when you're on the way and please answer this survey. And then I click here to begin. So I'm going to do this. Oops. And then this is why we do, oh my goodness, I'm struggling. This is why we do the trigger link, because now I can go up here to this trigger link and look, boom, there it is. So now they're going to have to fill out this survey. And because we use that UTM parameter that I showed you guys, that is going to track the survey submission to this specific customer. And because that's why I told you it's very important to make sure you don't have that question mark, no true equals follow. If your client is filling it out and it's not tracking, you probably had that full link in there. So now when they get that survey link, they're going to fill it out. 2 hours later, we're going to remind them, hey, fill out the estimate survey, fill it out, fill it out, fill it out, fill it out, because that's going to trigger off all your other automations. And then we have a go-to just saying every 2 hours, we're going to notify you until you fill it out. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's move on to the next workflow. I'm trying to go through these as fast as I can, but I also want to show you guys like how much value you can create here, right? So now we can see the next one is NL04, estimate survey outcome. So when that survey is submitted, the first thing we're going to do is remove them from that workflow because we don't want to continuously say, hey, fill it out, fill it out, fill it out if they have filled it out. And so the first question in there is, were you able to have the appointment? If we rescheduled, we're updating the appointment status and we're texting them saying, hey, here's our calendar if you want to book an appointment. Or if you don't want to share that link, you're just reaching out and having an internal notification saying, hey, reach out and try to get them booked. If they canceled, you're going to have a different text message that says, hey, no problem about canceling. Here's our live calendar. So it's the same message almost. It's just different language. No problem about rescheduling. No problem about canceling, right? Here's the information. And then we have our follow-up, which is wait 1 day. And then we have a full follow-up sequence. I wouldn't say full, probably like a 3-step one, right? Pretty simple. And then we just mark them as appointment status lost or abandoned, whichever you prefer. If the on-site estimate is completed, we update it to status. And then we're basically saying, hey, add task. The task is saying, go ahead and send them an estimate based off of the information you had, right? So pause there if you want to fill it out. And then we have an internal notification that also says, hey, send the estimate. Here's all the notes that you had when you did your on-site inspection, right? So really, really nice stuff. Very simple. It's all going to the phone. So if they're like, oh, I'm not tech savvy, can you open a text message? Can you answer a question? Did they show up? Can you type in notes about your estimate? Aren't you doing the same thing right now? You are. It's super simple. You're not even touching the system, right? Once they send the estimate, whether they're doing it from the desktop or the mobile, which again, I showed the instructions in that one. Then when the estimate is sent, we're updating. So it's tracking the system. Hey, we've sent out the estimate. It is now in negotiations. We're going to wait 5 minutes. We're going to text them and say, hey, I just sent you a quote for that upcoming project. Go ahead and accept it or ask me questions. Then we wait a day and we go ahead and do some, I call it like proactive or assumptive objection handling. So it's basically saying, hey, I want to ask you if you have objections if you are ghosting me, right? So basically saying, hey, I'm looking at the quote. Again, pause to read. I'm just doing a 1 day date wait between these. Pause to read and pause to read. Pause to read. Pause to read. And then the final wait is basically just marking them as abandoned because they abandoned the estimate. And this is all going to lead to the pipeline is where we're tracking everything, right? If they decline the estimate, check this out. If they say, hey, I'm declining the estimate, just on the estimate thing, remove from the follow-up sequence, because we don't want to ask them, hey, why did you accept it if they've, or, why haven't you done anything if they've declined it? We notify them, hey, they declined it. We update the opportunity as lost. And then we ask them, hey, what was the reason? Saw you decline the estimate. Can you reply and let us know what you didn't like? Pricing, timing, better quote from competitor. If it's something else, let me know so I can stop bugging you, or I can work with you. If they don't respond to that, after 1 day, we create a manual action for the business owner to call them. If they do respond saying 1, 2, or something else, obviously they would just reply themselves. But if it's 1, 2, or 3, then we have some proactive templates there. So we can, again, let me drag these so you can pause to read them. But you can see here, like, we have a lot of things here where it's proactive objection handling. And for people who are like, oh, clients don't like to be bugged. If you show me a client, I will show you somebody who wants the best bang for their buck, like best quality at lowest price. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Nobody can say, oh, I'll gladly spend $2,000 more than I have to. If you can have the same exact thing, same scope, same parameters for $2,000 less, you're going to go with that, right? So those are just basically saying, hey, we want to work with you or your business if you read through those. If they do accept the estimate status, what you can then do is you can say, okay, estimate accepted, remove from any workflows. So we can do send estimate status. We can even do remove them from both of those. Notification saying, hey, they accepted their estimate, go ahead and send them an invoice ASAP. And the reason I have this, some people will say like, well, Alec, couldn't you just use like the feature where the estimate becomes the invoice if they accept it? Yes, if you are just doing a full payment, not any kind of like down payments or anything like that until GHL updates it, right? I'm sure the second I drop this video, they're gonna have updated it and make me look silly, but that's okay. Then you're going to update opportunity, which is saying, okay, new lead pipeline closed 1. And so you're going to send them the invoice. And another reason why we're doing it like this is because some people are not using GHL, especially if you're pitching this to people who are not yet using it. What you can then do here is you can say, okay, well, if you're using Jobber, we've had people who are using like Zelle or Cash App, like it's saying, hey, go ahead and invoice them using whatever system you're comfortable with. If they're using your GHL system, then yeah, you can even set it up in GHL and put little instructions like I did before. But you can see here, this is really nice. And the benefit of doing it this way is that, again, we're going to track everything in the dashboard. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna set up the dashboard. All you have to do for your dashboard is, again, I do believe you have to be on like the $497 plan to customize it. So the one they give you is a very, very solid starting point. If you're on the $497 plan, the SaaS plan, just come here, add dashboard. You're gonna go to this one, and then I typically will create 3 dashboards. So I'm gonna do like your lead attribution, your opportunity, and then you can, if you want to, you can add these other ones depending on how much volume you have. But I usually just typically do these 2 personally. But again, the starting one is not bad at all. And so what you're doing with the lead estimation, you can see now that we have it out and you're tracking people as they're coming in, you can see the new lead, you can see the lead contacted, you can see the on-site scheduled, you can see all these values. And this is the big reason why we want to add lead value, because you're showing them the number as soon as they're coming in. So even if you only have, 5 people in your pipeline, you're able to see all of the money you have in the pipeline at different stages, and you're able to see these drop-off points here. And these drop-off points are going to show you where to upsell. So if you're seeing, for example, okay, you have new leads coming in, but there's a drop-off between the new leads and the leads contacted, this is where I can upsell you an AI bot to do it for you. Or maybe I can plug a VA in who's calling for you, right? And these are all upsells that are going to help you make more money, yes, but these are upsells that the business owner actually cares about, because you're showing how you're going to help them make more money. You're not just saying, hey, take this random offer, take this random offer, take this random offer. You're saying, hey, based on what's going on, this is what's going to help you. And that's how you take a client from 100 a month, 200 a month, 300 a month, to now paying 1,000 a month, because you're able to justify that by saying, hey, if you give me 1,000 a month, we're going to help you close 3 more clients at a lead estimation of no less than 1,500. That's a great deal, right? And so this is why we set it up the way we set up in those automations and the pipelines and everything. So now we can track it across all these stages. So let's come back over here. Now that I've shown you step 1, and again, you get all this if you sign up as my affiliate or join the program, so you can basically skip all that. Let's go into the next step, step 2. How do we find and reach out to the right clients without sounding like a loser? So my personal preference of how you do this is going to be very biased to what I've seen work with me. So if you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. This is what works for me very, very well. If you want someone who's going to tell you to do whatever you want and have it be, the wild, wild west, go over there, right? So step 2, first, we're going to identify a niche with decent margins, evergreen demand, and moderate sales cycles. So the reason I'm going to identify the niche is because if I have a backend system that I have to change with every different person I speak to, that's more work. If I have a website template that I have to change with every single person I speak to, that's way more work as opposed to just updating one template with pictures and a little bit of text, right? So it's much easier if you niche down for fulfillment. and you're going to have more case studies. Because if I say, hey, I've got a case study with pool guys, and I've got a case study with lawyers, and I've got a case study with, massage therapists, what do those have to do with each other? But if I say, hey, I've got 50 case studies in this one space, everybody in that space is going to say, well, I want this guy, I want this gal, because he or she is crushing it in that space. So you want to make sure that you're picking a niche with decent margins. This is why I always go with local service-based businesses of some kind. I'm not saying the whole space, just of some kind. I want evergreen demand. What business has been here for the last 25, 50 years? What business do you think will be here for 25, 50 years? Again, dentistry, lawyers, construction, right? And then moderate sales cycles. So if they're higher ticket, they're going to have a slightly longer sales cycle. If it's like, okay, a barber, right? I'm going to walk in, pay, get what little hair I have on my head cut, right? It's a very short sales cycle. If we're talking about, 3PL warehouses, I knew a guy who was like buying 3PL warehouses, and he was like, yeah, they're, 18 months, sometimes 3-year deals. That's a really long sales cycle. He's like, it's a lot of money, but it takes forever. I'm like, okay, that's way too much money. He's like, we got to do zoning and all that, blah, blah, blah. I want high ticket as fast as possible. And that's usually gonna be a moderate sales cycle. So if I'm doing like remodeling, if I'm doing construction, custom home builds, if I'm doing, legal work, if I'm doing, certain higher ticket medical work, right? What's going to happen is there has to be, estimates and consultations and back and forth. And there's usually a price tag with a comma in it. That's going to give me a better ROI, and it's going to allow me to charge more, have them stay longer, and have my space be solidified better, and give me the margins I need to make them money so they see an actual ROI, not just a revenue ROI, but also a profit ROI, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to position myself as somebody trustworthy before I reach out. I don't care if you're doing cold email. I don't care if you're doing cold calling. I use social media organic. That's how I've made all my money, is just organic social media. And it doesn't matter what you do. Your socials need to be dialed in. Because if your socials say, I work in this space and I'm really good at in this space, or I just love this space and here's all my content on this space. Again, like let's say 6 to 12 posts before you start reaching out. Now, when you cold call, people can check you out. Now, when you're cold emailing, people can check you out. Now, when you're cold DMing, they can click on your profile and go check you out. So it builds a little bit of trust, and it takes maybe 10, 20 minutes, like max. And again, if you are in SaySo University, the new SaySo 6 program is dropping very, very soon. I'm recording this in early May of 2025. So if you're seeing this, maybe it's coming out yet, or it hasn't come out yet. Maybe it's already come out yet. But I have prompts in the community that you can use to create your content very, very easily. The next thing you're doing is that now that you know who you're targeting, and now that you have positioned yourself within that space that you want to target, now we're going to start looking for the indicators of high quality prospects who take scaling seriously. So we're not looking for people who have no digital presence, no website, no nothing. Those are going to be bottom of the barrel clients that really don't want to do what you're saying anyway. We're looking for people who take scale seriously, but maybe you're missing the mark. So for example, they have a website, but on their website, it says services as opposed to services in Houston, Texas, or services in Las Vegas, or services in, Amsterdam, right? They have social media, but maybe the social media posts are not the best. They're not great. They're trying, but it's just missing the mark a little bit. Maybe they have reviews, like maybe they have like between 10 and 50, maybe even 10 to 100 reviews, but they're not near the top 5 of their Google ranking. Maybe they have some digital assets like a Google business profile. They have their social media pages. They have a website, any kind of digital assets. They're just saying like, hey, we understand that you can make money online. We don't want people who don't understand that. We don't want people who are like, no, I don't use the internet. I don't do any of that stuff, because it's going to be much harder to close them. And then we want to see some kind of content on those digital assets, right? Now, there's 2 ways that you can kind of reach out, but basically you want to reach out and confirm that they are getting leads to their site, or they're at least trying to use a site or understand that site to get them leads. If they're saying, yes, I am getting leads to their site, or I do have a website, that's where I'm picking the language enhance, where we can enhance your website. So that means you don't have to fire your web guy. If they don't have a website, or they hate their website and they hate their web guy, sorry, web guy, that's where you can push for a new site saying, oh, we can actually create you a smart site. So that's kind of how I differentiate. I know it sounds kind of silly, but that's how I differentiate with the leads. For my outreach, again, we've got more scripts in SaySo, but this is just basically the rundown of what we're doing. Option 1, we're going to basically say, hey, are you using a site, or do you understand sites work? And they're like, yes or no. Maybe they ghost you, but I'm talking about the ones that reply to you. You can say, hey, do you mind if I send more information for you to look over regarding smart sites? And then you put together a little document, a little pitch deck saying, oh, you have a website. It's a digital brochure, right? Everything I have up here. And we're doing this, and this is how it, responds. And because I set up my sub account the way Alec told me to, I can now screenshot this and show examples of how this might work, right? Don't lie and say it's real. Just show examples of how it might work. And so that's where you're sending a pitch deck explaining the breakdown of a smart website is and why it's better. You wait one day and then basically say, hey, I sent you the document. What questions do you have? What do you like? What do you dislike, to uncover objections? respond to any of them, and then say, hey, would you want to, or would you be against hopping on a call and we can put together a game plan for you to set something like this up, or we can put a game plan together for you to close more of the leads that are already reaching out to you. And that's where you're pitching the enhanced website on the call. I typically, if we're talking about like pricing, because this is a question I get all the time, pricing really does depend on the space because of the value you create. So for example, I work with landscapers, and we just helped one of our landscapers hit like $1 million in their, third month of working with us. So we're super excited. But when you're creating, additional $400,000, $500,000 of cash flow every month, it's a lot easier to pitch, 20, 40K setup fees. If you're only generating 20K a month, it's going to be really hard to, ask somebody for 20,000 if that's all you're generating them. So when you're starting out, you can very easily do, 1,000 setup, and then you can do something like, $297 a month afterwards. If you're like, okay, Alec, I've never charged higher ticket before, that's perfectly fine. Here's what you're going to do. Let's say you're nervous. You can drop the setup fee and just say, okay, well, it would be, $297 a month, no setup fee. And if they're like, hey, that's even too high for me, you can say, okay, well, it'd be $97 a month for 3 months. Then we move up. And you can say, if we get results. And how do you know if you get results? Because you're tracking the way Alec told you to. Now, these numbers are completely arbitrary. The idea is that you're charging as much as you can for the setup fee and a monthly retainer that justifies when they reach out to you, you're not rolling your eyes. You're like, oh, this is a great client because they're paying me great money. Let me go make sure we get better results, right? If you need to, these numbers, like how am I getting these numbers? All I'm saying is you really, really want to focus on getting your first 3 case studies. That's going to be where it's like, okay, maybe one time you got lucky. 2 times, it's like, okay, maybe you got lucky twice. 3 times, it's like, okay, we're moving away from luck into we have a process that's working. But you really want to focus on getting your first 3 case studies. This is what's so, so important. So that's where I'm like, in the beginning, I don't mind if you're dropping down as much as you want to. Just make sure that you're saying, hey, I'm not doing anything less than $300 a month for more than 3 months. Because if I get you results in 3 months, then we move up to this $297 level. But again, the number, you could be $397, $497, $597. It does not matter. If you're somebody who's like, oh, I want to go lower than these numbers Alec gave me. No, you can go higher, but you're not allowed to go lower. If you go lower than this, I don't know, Liam Neeson you. Okay. So again, you want to find those people and get your first 3 case studies. I don't care how you have to do it. Get your first 3 case studies. So then when you go and show people here are the results we're getting, the prices are now much, much more reasonable. And if the reason why up here I said find the right clients, if you're doing these things, I have never seen somebody who's doing these things and they're not making at least $10,000, $15,000 a month. I've never seen, maybe inconsistently, but I've never seen anybody who is taking scale seriously and doesn't have these things, because these things cost money, cost time. They lead to compounding results. I've just never seen that personally. If you have, maybe, but again, if we're focusing on the right spaces, if you're focusing on this step, first part of step 2, the second part becomes a lot easier. The second option I've seen, and this is something that I see a lot of other guys who talk about smart websites recommend, and this is a really great one. I'm not saying, because somebody else does it, that it's not a great one. It's just not mine. I want to give like full disclaimer. This is not my method, but I've seen a lot of people who are just like, they cold call people and they're just like, hey, so-and-so, this sounds really weird, but I actually built you a full site, a full smart site. And if you want to hop on a call, I'd be more than happy to show it to you. I know you're busy, it's the middle of your day, so I don't want to take up your time. What do you think? And if they say yes, then you go and update the template site, but you leave the backend automations, which is what we're going to cover next. If they say no, great. You don't have to do any work, right? So for step 3, if they say yes, then we're building a site in the dummy sub account. We're reusing the form. You can always recreate the form, because you can just, like, if they have a website, you can like recreate it, but you can always just reuse the form you have. And then you're attaching, if you make a new form, to the pipeline, which will automatically attach it to the automation. You're doing this all within the sub account. A little pro tip, and I'll show you where you can do this, but a little pro tip very quickly. If you have a GHL account that already has been A2P approved, like your own agency, don't do this with another client, you can actually create all of this in your agency sub account and make like short wait times. Like I had 1 day wait times, make them like 1 minute wait times. And what will happen is you can have a demo account like that, right? And if you want to see a video on that, let me know below in the comments, but this is just a quick one. And where are you building your websites? You're going to come here, site. I don't care if you have 50 websites in here, create new website. You can do from a template, and you can look at all these different templates. Or if you're like, okay, where do I find like other people doing good websites? Here's my favorite little trick. You're going to go to Instagram and you're just going to search. So you can search pool installation. You can search lawyers. You can search anything. I just did pool installation. And what you're going to do, because Instagram is a very aesthetic platform, these individuals are usually paying and they understand the importance of aesthetics. So we can just scroll down, look for something like beautiful, like this is a beautiful pool. We're going to go to their account and we're going to see if they have a website. They do. Okay, pop it open. And if you like what you're seeing with the website, I don't know what's happening here with this website, so maybe we'll go back. But if you find a website that you like, you can just copy it if you're not a fan of the template. So let's try again, right? Obviously that wasn't staged because I wouldn't have done that. But here, let's go here. This one's very interesting too. So here's a website. If you're like, okay, I like this one, I'm not a big fan. Let's look one more time. If not, then we'll just call this a total wash. But this is all I'm doing to find website. And what I'll do is if you follow a bunch of these guys and then you go to your feed, you'll actually see the ones who are paying to promote their account. And that's ones where you can really find some good ones. So let's find this. Okay, this is not a bad one. So if you're like, okay, I really like this setup, you can copy this setup. And you can see how they have their socials links. So let's try maybe a different one. Maybe a better link somewhere. Okay, let's say you really like this one. I'm not a big fan, but let's say you really like this one. You're just going to do that, right? Let's find one that we actually like. All right, here we go. This is not bad. So let's say you really like this website. You're just going to copy it. So that's how you find really good websites. You just copy things you like, right? You don't have to copy it 100%. But you just copy the things you like. And again, you're going to build it right in here. And also, if you're getting the snapshot from me, I already have your privacy policy and terms of service also put together. So you're getting your form that's compliant and your privacy and terms of service policies that are compliant for A2P registration to move you a lot faster. And then what you're going to do is on the call, you're just sharing the site and the backend demo if you'd like, per the pro tip. You're identifying the problem that they're having with the website, which is, hey, with your current website, it's not doing A, B, and C. And this is what we want to do, right? You're going to share the solution. The solution is the smart enhanced website. We can enhance your website. We can give you a smart website. It's going to do this. It's going to track these numbers. It's going to show you how you can put more money by identifying the numbers, which we covered in step 5. And then you're going to make your offer at 1,000 plus somewhere in this range. Wait for questions. And then any questions you get that you don't know how to answer, or even that you do answer, that pitch up above, you want to grab every objection and you want to put it into an FAQ into your pitch deck. So when they read it, you're trying to answer their objections before their objections, right? When they're still just questions. If they say yes, you're going to clone over all your assets into your new sub account, basically just share the automations over. You're going to immediately connect their Google business profile, their domain, their Facebook, etc. You're going to set up reporting immediately to you and them. You want them getting their reports at least monthly. You should be getting your reports weekly. Weekly is going to help you put together a case study. Every week you can see the numbers moving in a positive direction. And then of course the numbers will tell you where to focus your upsell. And now you can try to push closer to a 1,000 a month package, right? And you're just doing this over and over again. So let me show you what I mean. If we go look here at the dashboard, very simple. Where's the biggest drop off? The drop off between here and here. Why is that happening? Well, if this is new lead and lead contacted, it's not contacting, what could we do? Well, there's 3 things we could do. We could notify the business owner again and again. We could notify a different member of the business team. We could set up AI bots. Boom. I bring him or her, those 3 options. They pick. If they pick, have it go through me or somebody else and it's not working, we can push AI bots. And they can start seeing that, oh, my way doesn't work based on numbers. I can't argue numbers of my own business. So let's finally go with AI bot or enhanced automations. All of these are going to be upsell. If you are sending estimates going into negotiations and you're not closing as many, right? You're only closing half. Maybe we now have proactive objection handling. Maybe you can create sales training and sales scripts and SOPs. We can train their team on how to sell better, right? So that's another upsell. Those are more packages. So the reporting basically helps you act as a consultant and a coach, even if you have no idea how to coach them specifically, because you're seeing here, okay, there's a drop off here. We need to fix this. Here's what I'm recommending. Boom. Numbers say this. Here are your options. This is what I recommend. What do you want to do? It will cost this much. And you're just doing that every single week, every single month, because you're trying to move the needle more and more. And you're now showing them, hey, I don't care about how many leads you're generating. I care about how many leads you're closing. And what's really nice about this is if you're in lead gen, this works as an add-on. If you don't want to touch lead gen, I'm not a big lead gen guy. If you don't want to touch lead gen, guess what? We work with the marketing team and the marketing team is going to love us because now we're attributing how much money they're generating for you, right? So that's everything in this video. If you want more hands-on support, if you want a community of driven entrepreneurs who are focused on growth operating, that's what Say So 6.0 is going to be all about. This group is only for the serious entrepreneurs. This is a very brutal, very aggressive plan. So I don't want you to join the community. You can still sign up for the affiliate, but I don't want you to join the community if you struggle really badly with tech, if you are, fearful of rejection, if your ego's so big that you can never be wrong, and you're too sensitive with that, don't join if you cannot make time. Don't join if you think you know everything. And please don't join if you don't want to grow, right? This group is for serious people only. If you sign up via my affiliate link, and I'll guide you, I'll do it with tough love, but I will guide you only if you're serious. If that's not you, there's a lot of great affiliates out there to join. I'm just not your guy. If you've heard all this, you've seen everything, you still want to join, the link is right here, and I will link that down below. Again, if you want to copy this document, all you have to do is comment SMART below, and I will get you a copy. Have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.